No, get out of here. That's
That's okay.
Wah,
That's
wah,
okay.
wah.
Good afternoon. This is Deb Amlen for the New York Times, and welcome back to Heroes, Comedy Heroes.
Absolutely.
Here's how magicians solve
Wow.
You can
That's
do that?
what we're
That's
doing.
one of those, Elaine.
Stay over. We are going to be feeding Sam sugar and see how much it actually takes for him to lose his ability to solve. Right? This is science. We're doing this for science, Sam. Good afternoon. This is Deb Amlen for the New York Times, and welcome back to Crosswords Live. It's Monday, August 30th, and we are here to solve Brooke Husic's tricky puzzle. Now, it's actually the easiest puzzle of the week, so they say. So I think we're going to get through this one super fast because we also have a guest solver, and I'm very pleased to welcome Brian Wecht of Ninja Sex Party, Game Grumps, Star Bomb. He's got his hand in everything. So welcome to you, Brian.
Thanks so much, Deb. It is like a true honor to be here. I love the New York Times puzzles, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this.
We're very happy to have you. I know that you're a longtime solver. You've been solving since you were a child.
Yeah, I used to solve I remember a couple things. So I used to solve the Sunday puzzle with my mom every week.
Aw.
She loved the New York Times puzzles, so we would do those together. And I also remember in high school, it was kind of a race to who could get to the library first that day. I had a couple friends who were solvers too. And we would always try to get to the library first to get the puzzle back then there was of course the print edition, but
Right.
I used to do it a lot in high school too. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. Do you play any of the other games like Spelling Bee or Tiles or?
Well, I am kind of addicted to spelling bee, and I do it every single day. It's pretty much the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is grab my phone and look at the puzzle. So I love spelling bee.
Oh,
And then sometimes the other ones too. I do like the variety puzzles a lot as well.
excellent. Well, those are not in our games app, but they are on the web. So by the variety puzzles, Brian means the puzzles that come out online on Thursday, and the column accompanying them publishes on Saturday. Those are the acrostics and the cryptics and all sorts of good fun things
Yeah,
like split decisions. I love those too.
yeah, they're really fun.
We have quite a few people who are watching, and they said the word, the NSP word. You can't say party on the New York Times channel. You can too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you everybody for watching. This is
Yeah,
really
no,
cool.
this is
Yeah.
great. I hope, by the way, I hope you will join in with us. This is an interactive solve. So if you would like to put your guesses in the comments, just tell us the number and whether it's across or down and your guess, and your answer may wind up in the puzzle and we may give you a shout out. Also, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments.
Yeah.
Well, you
Great.
certainly have a lot of fans here who are cheering you on. So while we have that little bit of, loft underneath our wings, tell me
Mhm.
where you would start
You mean in general or just today?
in this puzzle or in general.
In general, so my general strategy, although I guess I've never elevated it to such in my mind, is I'll just start with one across
Mhm.
and then just kind of go, especially on a Monday, which tend to go a bit faster.
Right.
I will generally go through all the across clues first and try to get all those, and then just literally go through all the across and then all the down. And after I've kind of gotten the basic bones of a solution in, then go clue by clue and just try to pinpoint where, what seems like is going to be the easiest thing to fall.
That's great. Now, for people who are not crossword solvers, there are certain rules that need to be followed in order to successfully solve. They're very, very
Right.
easy to remember, though, and even knowing just a few of them will immediately make you a better solver. If you could
That's
think
right.
of one thing that you know that helps you as a solver, Brian, what would that be?
Well, the first thing that occurs to me is that the parts of speech have to match up.
Right.
So the clue is always going to be if the clue is like, uh, whatever, sleeps
Mhm.
briefly. The answer wouldn't be nap, it would be naps, right? Or
Right.
something like that.
And
So the
and
parts of speech have to and the tenses have to match
right.
up.
So a verb clue would have to have a verb answer. You couldn't put a noun in there.
That's right.
And right away, that helps guide you to the answer. The
Mhm.
other thing I was going to say is that if you are going to get started solving, for the love of all that is holy, please start on the Mondays. A lot
Yeah.
of people, a lot of
Yeah.
people like to start on weekends and they pick up the Saturday paper, and God help them. I mean, it's that is the hardest day of the week. That is
Yeah.
not the place to start.
Those can be brutal, and, as I said, I'm a longtime solver. There are many Saturdays that I've left unfinished because 'cause I'm just
Yeah,
like, "I don't know," it gets
right.
really tricky.
Don't have time
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
that's okay. It's okay not to finish because, as we like to say, it's a game.
Mhm.
It's not, you don't not get into college for not finishing a New York Times
That's
crossword puzzle.
that's right. And
So,
especially now, with the app, you can reveal even just a square, right? Or
right,
even a word. So if you need a little bit of a nudge,
right.
which I'm definitely not too proud to admit that I take from time to time, you can do it, which is a big difference from, when I was a kid. It was just like, well, wait till tomorrow to find out the answer.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now you can take a peek, or you can use the auto check, which I use because
Right.
even though I solve all the puzzles to write the columns for wordplay, I have to go very quickly in order
Hmm.
to meet my deadline.
Oh yeah, I
So
bet.
I
Yeah.
like to know when I'm wrong right away.
Hmm.
We have quite a few people in the comments. Groove Master Juno says Monday is the best crossword day. And Sal Amendor says, really, I would have thought Sunday would be the hardest. Do you want to comment on that?
Well, I feel like I almost know, I've been doing this so long that I don't what do I say? I've known that Saturday is the hardest since I was a kid. Sunday is big, and for certainly for crossword constructors, one of the first things you learn is that big does not equal difficult, right?
No.
So you can make a super easy, huge puzzle, and you can make a super hard, tiny puzzle, you
Right.
know?
It's yes. The Sunday puzzle, the one that's in the magazine and online, is generally a Wednesday, Thursday
Yeah.
difficulty. It's about midweek.
Hmm.
So you can try and give it a try. And if you don't get the whole thing done because it is really big and it takes a while, that's okay too. As long as you're practicing. It's one of the few things, one of the few pastimes where you really get better at it the more you do it.
That's right. And also the Sundays, because they're so big, it's fun to do. I mean, like I did it with my mother growing up, they're really fun to do with someone else. I mean, all crosswords are fun to do with someone else, but
Yeah.
uh, but the Sundays in particular, like having a couple people talking about the clues, the possibilities. I always love doing that.
Absolutely. And we're going to show them how much fun it is to do the crossword puzzle together.
That's right.
Right now, we have Raffy the Taffy says, I don't think I've ever done a crossword before, always seemed hard to me.
I love that.
I love that too. You know what? We're going to disprove that because we're going to show you how to think about the clues and figure out what the clues are actually asking you to do, and
Hmm.
also a good strategy for getting started. And Zero Heart said, I had no idea that days had different difficulties.
Hmm.
See, the more
And
you
it
know.
and but that's a New York Times convention also, right? Because you guys do run a daily crossword.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
in general, it's not like in every newspaper, the Monday is always the easiest, right?
In most of the mainstream newspaper crosswords, there is an ascending level of difficulty throughout the
Okay.
week. I think Will Short's kind of fine-tuned that.
Mhm.
And actually now I believe it's the New Yorker, the difficulty goes backwards. So if are
Oh,
used
I
to the
didn't know that.
Mondays,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
if you're used to the Mondays of being easy, and then you go to tackle a Monday New Yorker puzzle, boy, are you going to be surprised.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, they did it just to be cool, I guess,
I love it. Yeah.
All right, let's start. One across Mongolian desert, 4 letters.
Okay, so I have no idea.
Okay.
And what I would do, solving this in person, I don't know. I could take a guess. I mean, maybe it's the Gobi, but which works with the count. But I don't like to put things down until I'm pretty sure of them. So
Okay.
I would leave this blank and then just move on to the
And that's
next one.
like I say, a perfectly cromulent thing to do. Yeah, that's a good strategy. You can figure out which things are gimmies or the things that you definitely know. Like for example, 25 across, longtime name on Wheel of Fortune, 5 letters. That's got to be Vanna.
Well, except could it be Sajak?
It could be Sajak. Look at that. What would you do to prove that?
Well, so then you look at the other clues, right? So let's start with Vanna because I think that
By
that's
the way,
probably my first instinct as well.
can
And
I
so
just hop in here and say
yes,
only a theoretical physicist would say that, would ask that question. But what if it's not?
that you know what, 100%. This is my scientific training at work. Is you try to
Okay.
think you have your constraints, and then you think of every possible solution, and then you kind of work back and say, okay, well, how can I see which is the right one, right?
And by the way, I didn't mean that as a slight. I
No,
meant
no,
that
I
as a compliment
I
because
completely understand.
I think that kind of critical thinking is awesome and it will definitely help you solve the puzzle. It just might drive you crazy by putting in Vanna, then Sajak, then Vanna, then
That's right.
Sajak.
Well, yeah, I
Um,
mean, talk to my wife is all I'll say about that, which is this is precisely the kind of behavior I engage in where she's like, "Come on, we don't need to like exclude every possibility here." We I
now,
kind of do, you know.
it's and somebody Dave 1307 said if it's Vanna, it could be white too. This is impossible.
Oh, that's
Well,
also true.
you
Yeah.
know what? I think that's absolutely true. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve one of the crossers just to prove our theory. Will
Good
that prove the
crossword
theory to
lingo.
you?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We're going to do some crossword science
Yeah, great.
at 19 down where everything's a buzz. Now that's a question mark clue. So for people who are new to solving, the question mark clues are there to indicate that you shouldn't think about this at face value.
Yeah,
It's
there's like
not
there's a
about people being very excited about something. Um,
it's jokey or is a little
or
bit of a wordplay
there's
thing
a
going
little bit of,
on, right?
yeah, it's a little bit, it's not to be taken at face value. We have some people putting answers in the comments if you want some help.
Well, I think I can get this one. So buzz, especially with the question mark, makes me think of bees. So I
Right.
think this is a hive.
I
This has got
think
to be
you're
a
right.
hive. Yeah.
And for Mohammed Hassan Saeed and Rev Mike Cohn, thank you very much. They said hive as well. And Akre also said hive. Mona Hetfiza said, I've never had enough patience to finish a crossword puzzle. Oh, well, that's
That's
okay. The nice thing about these is you can put them down and come back to them.
that's
Did
right.
you ever?
And if you it saves your progress also if you do it
Oh,
online,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And
So
if you
which
do
is
it in
very nice.
print,
Yeah, of course.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. The
So
original saving your own progress where you're just
that's
writing the
right.
things
Yeah,
in.
old school,
Yeah.
old school.
Cool.
Okay, so I think that's enough to prove that it's probably going to be Vanna.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
Okay. Where would you like to go now? Where are your gimmies?
Well, actually, 5 across where we were at
Uh-huh.
before, eggplant blank, cheesy dish
Yum.
informally. Now, I grew up in North Jersey. I know
Okay.
an eggplant parm. Like, this is I don't know how regional that is. I'm curious about that, but
Yeah, I think Parm is everywhere, but as a fellow Jersey, as a Jersey girl, I will agree with you. It's a very Jersey thing.
yep, my local in Pompton Lakes, New Jersey was Tony's Pizza,
Oh, cool.
and an eggplant parm or a chicken parm were my go-to sandwiches. So,
Okay. Well,
and
shout out to Marinos in Watchung, New Jersey, because they have the best red sauce
oh,
ever.
yeah. Well, that really is the crucial differentiator between good and bad, I think, is that it's the sauce. Like,
Absolutely.
yep.
Absolutely. I judge, and I'm not a very judgy person, but I judge restaurants on how their red sauce tastes.
It is actually living. So I live in LA now. It is
Okay.
one of the things that I find the hardest to get out here is like that good, like North Jersey Italian food. I really
Really?
miss it. Yeah, I mean, you can get it sort of, but it's
Yeah.
not the same, but yeah. And
Wow. Okay. Wow. Well, we have a couple of people who are talking about 9 across.
yeah, let's look at that.
That's got to be uh, Nayaga Dalamik had guessed that it is aloe
That would
vera.
be my guess too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and I have to say, I always encourage new solvers to start with the fill in the blanks because generally I think your
hmm,
brain loves to fill in missing information. And I think that those fill in the blanks are the ones you're most likely to get
mhm.
because I think your brain sort of like rifles through the files looking for something and says, "Oh, I know what this is. This is aloe vera."
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but that's a really good strategy for new solvers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, why don't we while we're over here in this corner, I love, finishing a part of the puzzle just feels so great. So let's see if we can
yeah.
close out this corner here. All right, 9 down, setting for a rock concert. Well, that's got to be an arena.
Oh, yeah. It's with
Uh,
that A at the beginning and A at the end.
yep.
I would definitely say you're right. Here, well, hold on. With 10 down, this
Mhm,
is an interesting one. We have the L, so we know it's Mauna Loa.
that's right. Yeah.
But there is also, you have a 50%, if you didn't have the L, you would have a 50% chance of getting this right because there are two
Right.
in
Kea.
Hawaii, Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa. So what I usually do is I will fill in one of the first two letters just to see where we're going with that.
Yep. Yeah. With those, that's a common clue. The mana. You can always rely on that last A to get
Yes,
you at least something.
just drop that in right
Just
away.
drop the A right away. Yeah. Yeah. Um, all right, let's look at 11 down here.
Oh,
Rower's implement. Well, that's an oar
yep.
for sure, part of a boat.
They, rowers use oars.
And it looks like we're super close here. See, so here's another for new solvers. Here's another thing that's really useful is if there's an abbreviation in the clue, there's going to be an abbreviation in the answer. So a CPR pro would be an EMT.
Very good.
Yep.
Brian, I love you. You make my job so easy. And we see that we have Rome, and the last part of that long entry at 18 across is heart. Doesn't have fortitude.
So this is one where I personally, well, do you want to see what the chat says? Are there any ideas from the chat that
They
look
don't have the
interesting?
across yet, but they agree on EMT and arena. Zero Hearts agrees. Corey agrees. John Jim Yoto, please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Half Pixel says, I've gotten burned by Kia and Loa before.
Yeah. I mean, you
Oh,
literally could also, which is interesting.
and Maria Plantilla says, I love Brian too.
Oh, Maria. Hi, Maria. So everybody who's watching, Maria is a dear friend of mine
Yeah,
from college and was introduced me and Deb because
yes.
I
And a
it
very
was
important person at the New York Times. We
yeah,
love
and just
Maria too.
everyone loves Maria. That's the
Yes,
great thing about Maria. You can't not love Maria.
I
Uh,
think so.
yeah. So I would say with 18 across, my first guess is lax heart,
Yeah.
but I can't say that's 100. I'm not 100% on it. So,
Now,
but that's at the level where I personally would fill it in and
right.
then see what happens and be
Now,
be ready to erase it.
well, that's fine. And it's very interesting what's going on in the comments right now. People are guessing things like faint heart, light heart, faint of heart, FEINT of heart, and thinking that maybe it's something in the theme drops the word of. Um, it's entirely possible.
Mhm.
Generally, we have themes like that later in the week, though. You generally wouldn't find that in a Monday puzzle. The nice thing, and the reason we tell people to start with the Mondays is because there's a much straighter line between the clues and the answers. So you're probably not going to see a whole lot of trickiness today, but that's good because the more you fill these in, the more you press and push toward later in the week, and you're going to see those really, really awesome clues. You might see
Yeah.
one or two, like the question mark clue that we had just now.
Yeah, and something to say about some of those other guesses is, for example, faint heart doesn't
Mhm.
match up with the part of speech or the tense or whatever it is of that
Right,
clue, right?
right.
So doesn't have fortitude.
It's a
Faint,
verb,
it's a verb, right?
and
So we
because it
need to
says
do that,
have, we know it's going to be a plural instead of has.
right?
Right. So we have some people guessing and doing a really good job. Gilded Fangs says 5 down gives you the L for lax heart because it's friend, which would be what, Brian?
That's a pal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's a great way to check it.
Yep,
Mohammed Hassan Saeed says 15 down is teaspoon or
yep.
TSP, which
So
is Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say this is one where I can never remember how much a tablespoon versus a teaspoon is, and it's with that fraction of a cup, it's one or the other.
Right.
But knowing that it's 3 letters versus 4 letters, you can tell it's TSP instead of TBSP.
Especially in the middle, right? And without the B, we know what it is.
That's right.
So we're doing really well. We finished that one upper right-hand corner. Let's see if we can get some more. Where do you want to go now?
Let's look at 14 across.
Okay.
Plagued. Hmm.
Ah,
This one, I don't know this one offhand. If
it's
bes-
hard because
beset,
we know it's going to be past tense. Plagued is a
yeah.
past tense verb.
So me knowing crosswords,
Yeah.
if the one word doesn't work first, I'm like, okay, is there a 2 word answer?
Yeah.
And my first guess would be 8 at here. And I can't say I'm 100% on that, but it seems very likely to me. So I'm gonna go with that, and
Very good.
let's
And
check
that's
the
one that
rest.
doesn't get parsed easily. ADAT looks very weird in the grid to me, but that's definitely something ate at you. It plagued you. It bothered you.
Hmm.
Let's see. Lith Cross 21 says, judging from 15 down, S is the last letter in that 18 across. Yes, absolutely. There's a little bit of a lag in the stream, so we're going to
Yeah.
see some comments that uh, for things we've already talked about. Nyaga Dalamik says, jumping ahead, 38 down screams back road to me.
Opposite of a freeway. Yeah, that back road is really good for that. It's not. I don't know yet.
Right.
You know what? Let's check some of the crosses there and see what that
Okay.
looks like.
We can branch out.
Let's yeah. So maybe if there's a starting letter, that's always a good place to check
Yeah.
because sometimes those
Unfortunately,
can be
that
easiest.
one is in the center of the grid, and it's most likely a theme entry. So how
Yeah,
about if we do 41 across?
that sounds great.
That's a small one, but one running for office for short.
Well, let's see. So that's a candidate, right? A candidate.
Yeah.
Is can? I, I
I think that would probably get an abbreviation clue. But
yeah, because
there's a short word for the kind of person who runs for office.
hmm
It's a noun, and it's probably not going to have an A in it,
yeah. So I
at
think
least not
back
at that
road is.
position.
I think we should
Yeah.
delete back road and then
For now, it was a
for
great
now
guess.
for
It's a
sure.
great guess. It fits. We're gonna see. It may just not fit in this particular puzzle. So let's try again. Let's see what
Well,
else we've got. How about 44 across?
44 across. Yeah.
Mm,
Means of communication. Okay, so I actually haven't seen A Quiet Place,
yeah.
but I know the deal is that they can't talk, right? Because the
Okay.
aliens can hear stuff. So what could that be?
In brief,
It's probably sign language, so maybe that's ASL.
that sounds like a good answer to me. ASL in brief is another indicator that something is shortened or an initialism or abbreviated.
Hmm.
So, just to talk about the abbreviations, you don't always get a warning that something is abbreviated by seeing ABBR
Hmm.
in the clue, but you might see it in other ways, like for short, in brief, things like that.
Yep. And for those of you who don't know, ASL is American Sign Language, right?
Right.
So that's
Right.
an abbreviation for that language. Uh,
So that's good. Where else do you want to go?
well, I saw one that I think I know just
Okay.
randomly. 40 down, first K-pop group to have a #1 Billboard hit. I mean, I think that has to be BTS.
Probably. I think
Like,
that's an excellent guess.
yeah. Um, and then we have a bunch of starting letters there. So
Yeah.
let's look at 40 across.
Hmm.
Word before language or temperature? Um,
Those are tough.
could that be base is the first thing I think of, but
Base language or
base
base
language doesn't
temperature?
base language doesn't sound right, and
Yeah.
base temperature actually doesn't really either. Oh, body, it's body. That's what it is. Body language or body temperature. That
Right.
makes a lot more sense.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of people who are putting their guesses in the comments. If you feel like you need help, like you can phone a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, well, can we see what people think for this one? 43 across, end of a shoe.
Oh, Raph Raffy the Taffy thinks it's tip,
Tip,
but
I like
tip
tip
is
is a good
good.
guess. Yep.
Tip is a good guess. Let's try 36 down and see if that's right.
So
Bird on the Canadian dollar.
well, so famously, so
Yes.
our backing band and our friends TWRP are Canadian, and I've spent a
Okay.
bunch of time in Canada with them. And anyone who goes to Canada knows about loonies and toonies.
Right.
So a
Exactly. So
Canadian dollar, yeah, sorry, go ahead, Deb.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that's got to be a loon. So I don't think tip is right.
Okay. Top could be right, but it's not. I'm sorry, Lith Cross 21 and Blunts Trudeau uh, think that it's toe.
Yeah, that one looks good to me.
Yeah,
I was like that DE there. That looks pretty great. And then 37 down, something that might pop into your head. That's got to be idea. So
very
that
good.
that
Excellent.
seems really great. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
and we've got people who agree with loon and toe. Let's see.
well,
Uh,
escargot, that is a snail.
right.
So that's got to be snail. Yeah.
Uh, we've got what is that one? 53 across.
Oh yeah. What is that?
Oh, I know that
Jose.
one.
Oh yeah, that's Cuervo.
Right, Jose Cuervo. We have Strong and Pretty 13 agrees with you, and a lot of other people. I'm sorry if we don't shout you out. Please forgive me that the comments go by pretty quickly, but we see all of your comments. Uh,
And look, so we have 3 out of 4 letters and 44 down.
okay,
Grad, that's an alum.
absolutely. Blunts
Yep.
Trudeau and Shadow Giraffe and Sage Metal Rat agree with you.
Yep. And another abbreviation, right? Grad is an abbreviation for graduate.
Right,
Alum is an abbreviation for alumnus or alumna or a couple other things too.
alumni. Right.
Alumni, alumni.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Some frozen drinks.
Oh,
So it's obviously ice something. I guess my first guess would be ices,
yeah, and
like kind of Slurpees.
you could just drop that S right in there because the drinks is plural, so we know that the answer is plural,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Oh,
And then let's look at this corner here. Does anyone have any ideas for this corner?
headed.
Let's
Um, oh, Eddie K. Super Gay says, I love this. Oh, I'm so glad you're
that's
having
so great.
fun. Pull up a chair. We're all solving.
Let's see. Letters between news and Omicron. Okay, I always
Mm,
forget the letters of the Greek alphabet. That might be Muse, but that's definitely an S at the
well,
end.
I think mu doesn't mu come before new?
I would think so, but so what is that?
Well,
That
we
could
did
be,
throw the S in there because we know it's going to be a plural.
yeah, maybe those are X's. I forget the order of the Greek
Okay.
alphabet all the time. Um Deliver a burn to is probably dis.
Yep. Yep. We've got people who agree with dis, like Lith Cross 21. Shattered Time Lord has 55 across, if you'd
Oh,
like
what's
that
that?
one.
Yeah, of course.
That's going to be mocha,
Great.
one of my favorite flavors.
Yeah, mix of coffee and
55
chocolate. Yeah.
across. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Okay.
What else do we have here? Buffalo's Lake. Well, that's Lake Erie
Yeah.
there in New
That is
York.
we have a running joke on the stream that everything that comes up a lot in the crossword is the official whatever of the New York Times crossword. And I would definitely say that Erie is the official Great Lake of the New York Times crossword.
It makes sense. It has all those lovely vowels in it right
Yes.
there. And yeah, for sure. All right,
Now,
yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so we're almost done with this little corner over here. Might as
Yeah.
well try to close it out.
Do you want some help with 56 down?
That would be great. Yeah.
All right. Well, Niagara Dalamik says it sounds like lead, LED. If you
That
headed something, you led it.
Yep, and what I like about clues like that too is it's a little ambiguous, right? So
Yes.
headed could means like you
Could
headed
mean having
towards
heads.
something, could be yeah, having heads. There's a lot of different ways that you could interpret that
Mhm.
clue, and
We
lead is a good one.
absolutely. 56 across is something that a lot of people are shouting out in the clues. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, in the comments. Tiny neighbor of France.
well, that's got to be Luxembourg, a
Exactly.
very small
Exactly.
country.
And with that,
And
we find out that Kai's are the letter between
yeah,
N and O,
great.
much like Bleen is the number between 6 and 7.
uh,
Uh,
all right.
okay.
What is 54 down here?
Let's
Flow
see.
out. Well, that's
Oh,
ebb. Got to
yep.
be ebb, EBB
Ebb is in the puzzle a lot too.
for sure. Uh, female flower powered. With I should know this, but I
Well, since it's the
don't.
female flower part, I'm gonna suggest that we drop an O at the beginning because it's usually something related to ova.
Yep.
Now we
Yeah.
just have to figure out the last part.
Yeah. So let's look at 62 across. Seats at a hoedown. Well, that's probably bales of hay. So I was gonna
I
say that's
I would
bales.
agree.
I like
I would
bales there.
absolutely agree.
Now that GS looks concerning, but in 59 down,
Oh, but it could be an abbreviation.
but it could
Even
be.
even though there's no abbreviation in the clue, it's generally known this way
So
as the
that's
initialism.
yeah. So it's the era of Family Feud reruns the game show network GSN.
Exactly. Exactly. Good
Great.
job. We're killing
Uh,
this.
and wild actress Laura. Well, that is. I mean, that's Laura Dern, one of the all-time greats.
Right.
How can you
The,
not love
the,
Laura
the
Dern?
official great actress of the New York Times Crossword.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
Right?
Player making a basket or goal. Well, that we have a lot of letters there. Any
Yeah.
ideas from the chat?
Let me see. I know right now they're shouting out the Game Show Network. John Gimioto says 8 down, if we can hop up to the
Oh,
top.
sure.
Well, I think he might mean, I don't think he means 8 down. Because he had ELO. Oh no, he says 42 across, sorry. Is ELO.
Is that the Xanadu clue? Yes, that's
Yes, Xanadu
definitely
group.
ELO.
Yep.
The Electric Light Orchestra.
All right. Well, now we have our people at 45 down who are shouting out. They've Lith Cross 21, Salamander, Mohammed Hassan Saeed, Gilda Fangs, Maria Plantia, and again Lith Cross 21 all say scorer.
Yeah,
If
I agree with
somebody
that.
makes a basket or a goal.
That sounds right.
Yep. And Wouter van Dijk.
Oh,
Or
it's an
Dijk.
ovule, which sounds very plausible
It really
for the
does.
female flower part. Yep.
I'll go with that. Now we have road at 38 down. Now we can guess what it is. The opposite
Yep.
of a freeway?
So if it's not a freeway, it's probably a toll road, is what I
I
would
think
say
that's a
there.
great guess.
Yep. And then I like that L there.
Okay.
Rescuer for when you lost your key. I think that's a locksmith.
I think you would be right. A lot of people shouted that up before. People are like way ahead of us. You guys are
I love that.
absolutely
That's
killing
so
this.
great.
Yeah. Scott agrees with locksmith. Kudos to everybody who shouted it out before. Here's an interesting one at I'm sorry, the clues are a little small for me. At 39 down, I want to say. Thank you.
Suffix with cyto or proto.
That SM at the end is very interesting. It's two consonants together.
Yep, but the answer to that one is definitely plasm.
Good.
The
Excellent.
like
So
cytoplasm, the
we're
fluid
looking for
inside a
something that
cell.
would, since it says suffix, we're looking for something that would go after the prefix cyto or proto.
Mm-hmm,
And
for
people
sure.
agree with you.
I think I saw one at 48 down.
Okay.
New moon, full moon, and others. Those are the phases
Exactly.
of the
Good.
moon.
Nice job. Everyone's screaming plasm in the comments.
uh,
Would you like some help with 46 down?
yeah, I was just looking at 46 and 47. That'd be great.
Okay, so the Swiss cough drop brand is definitely Ricola.
Mm-hmm.
And 47, need after a computer crash informally. That's a tough one.
Yeah, so let's. I mean, my initial guess is something like IT help, but
Okay.
I can't say I'm. Oh, yeah, that looks pretty good in there. I gotta say, I like that. Let's look at some of the. Let's look at 60. Yeah, 60 across.
Okay.
Performs could be does.
Could be.
She
in
uh,
French,
in French, L.
L, right?
So this looks good.
Yeah,
Units in track or swimming or laps. So I think
absolutely.
that
And
worked out.
Hyper Polly agrees with you.
Let's get some help with this one from the chat. One who
With
might have a contract.
one who might have a contract with a sandal manufacturer. That's an interesting. Well, we've got model at the end.
Mhm.
And who would have a contract? Well, you know what we could do. A lot of people are shouting out 45 across in the comments. So can we just put that in?
Sure.
Voyage by boat would be a sea trip, and
Great.
Akre, Mohammed, Saeed agree with that. And now people are
I like that.
starting to shout out the answer to 35 down. It wouldn't be shoe model, even
That
though
was
it's
my first guess too. Yeah.
and that's a great guess because we do have that O at the right position, but we also have that T for C trip. So the people who are shouting out foot model would be
Yep.
correct.
I like that. And if I may say, so I'm looking at these long clues and it looks
Yeah.
like we have some commonalities here.
Ooh.
Lax, locks, lux. Seems like we have a little theme developing in these long clues, which might
Ooh,
be
I think you're
interesting.
on the right track. I do.
Um, so and in fact, it looks like we got some vowel order going on here.
Yes, we
Uh,
do.
so this is 36 across, whatever that, I don't know what the full thing is, but finishes eating ice cream or soup, licks.
Yeah,
Oh, that's got
licks
to
sounds like
be
that would be
licks,
the
licks the spoon,
oh,
I
awesome. And
think is
that's a
going to be a guess.
really fun licks the spoo. Let's put that in there.
You know, that little leftover bit of ice cream, you don't call that the
That's
spoo?
right.
Everyone
That's
calls that the spoo.
from this
Yeah.
day forward. It
Yeah.
it is the spoo. Uh, and Waffles 91 agrees. Everybody else agrees with spoo. So that's what it's going to be from now on.
Yep, I love it.
So we've got lax. We've got another and theme entry at 23 across licks, locks, and lux. This is what this theme type is called a vowel progression because it always starts with the same letter and the following vowel is going to go from not necessarily the same letters, but the sounds that the letters make. So we've got a short A. The next one will probably be a short E,
Mhm.
licks, locks, lux. So AEIOU. If the person
Yep.
was really ambitious, they could have squeezed them together and tried to get a Y in there sometimes, but generally that doesn't happen.
Yeah. So 23 across is the remaining theme entry,
Yeah.
home of the University of Kentucky. Now I know this one because I went there for a physics conference
Oh,
once. Very cute little
but do you
town in
wait? Do
Kentucky.
you have a PhD?
You know, I don't like to mention it, but I do
Okay.
actually. It's kind of it's my the skeleton in
Sure.
the closet. Um, yeah, so that is Lexington, Lexington,
Excellent.
Kentucky, which is a really sweet little town there.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
so now we have the theme in there: lax, lex, licks, locks, lux. The theme, by the way, for those of you who don't solve, is something, it's just sort of like a little extra added entertainment, and it kind of holds the puzzle together. They all of the theme answers have something in common.
Yep.
So,
And I think you were saying unusual for a Monday, right? To have a
no, no,
theme
no.
or no?
All of the New York Times crossword puzzles from Monday through Thursday have a theme, and the Sunday.
Well, that's a rule. I didn't realize that that was always the oh,
Yeah.
okay,
A
gotcha.
lot of people just sort of skip it.
Yeah,
I come at it from a writer's perspective, so I like
yeah,
the theme. Theme development to me is a lot of fun
yeah.
because you're playing with words. Fridays and Saturdays do not have a theme, unless Will decides to change his mind, and they do. But right now they don't.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. You know, it is so interesting. I mean, as I said, I've been solving these for years. I don't
Okay.
think I realized that every Monday through Thursday puzzle has a theme.
Yeah. Those are a
Wow.
lot harder to make, by the way, even though
Yeah.
the Friday and Saturday puzzles are more difficult for solvers. Having to really polish a theme thing, and I'm a little biased here, but because I was mainly a theme constructor, um, having to polish a theme, fit it in the grid, fill really, really well and lively around it, and then clue it all up for a certain day of the week is immensely difficult.
Yeah. And
So kudos to Ms. Husic. This is, by the way, this is her 7th puzzle for the New York Times, her
awesome.
first Monday.
Yeah, this is a really fun one too. I love
Yeah.
it. Uh, Great. All right. Well, anything from the chat? Any clues
Oh,
people
yeah.
are excited about?
Let's see. We've got Hyperpoly says 8 down is make nice. I like that entry.
Show friendliness. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Despite ill feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. And Waffles 91 says 34 across is ace, as in an ace in cards.
Nice. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
Because
looking at that one before and not being sure what AKQJ was at first.
I
Yeah.
didn't either at first, but it's ace, king, queen, jack. It's, hopefully the kind of cards you're holding.
I like that's a great I don't think I've seen that clue before. That's a really nice clue for ace. Yeah.
It is, and I really love the fact I love it when the constructors and the editors come up with a fresh clue for a word that's been in the puzzle, hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, nice. Nice find by
Yeah.
Brooke.
Well,
Hunt for again. Well, that's re-seek,
yeah,
I think.
Reseek and Ire, the official crossword motion of the New York Times Crossword. Let's see. We have Maggie Budziak says 34 down is OHL, the Ontario Hockey League. Interesting. I don't think I was able to get that one.
Well, I think that's got
That's 34 down. Oh,
it's
AHL.
got to be
Sorry.
AHL, I think. Yeah.
Are
Uh,
they Atlantic?
I don't know enough about I would guess, but I don't know
Yeah,
enough about sports to I
me
mean, this is
neither.
one of my sorry, what, Isaac? It's American. Okay.
American Hockey
Great.
League.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that.
See,
That's our intrepid producer, Isaac.
sports is one of my big like just gaps in knowledge. I know essentially nothing about it, and every time there's sports stuff, I just kind of hope for the best.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm really glad you brought that up because that also goes to giving yourself permission to ask for help on a puzzle. I mean, it's not a lot of people sit down and treat this like they're sitting down to take the SAT. It's not.
Right. Yeah.
It's a game and games are meant to be fun. So I always tell people that if you need help, ask somebody. At the very least, you'll make a friend. I mean,
Yeah.
ask that attractive guy on the subway for help
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it. You never know.
I think
Um,
I think of it as the same way I think about video gaming, which
yeah,
is the right way to do it. It's however you're going to have fun doing it, right?
absolutely.
And that's not to say
Absolutely.
that there might not be people there, some people may not like the way you do it, but they are entitled to do it their own ways. Like,
Right.
if if a fun way for you to play a video game is to look at the walkthrough and just go through the motions, great. If a
Yeah.
fun way for you to do a crossword puzzle is to get help or look up an answer when you need to, great. Whatever is going to be fun.
I couldn't agree with you more. I happen to go to my husband for sports clues. I go to my son for video game clues, and Greek mythology for some reason.
Mhm.
But yeah, I absolutely ask for help. A lot of people in the comments are insisting that 24 down is grasps.
I like that. Yeah.
Gets hold of, absolutely.
And a Paul. Great. Yep. For this is the one that one running for office. Fantastic.
Right. Yeah. Zebatrol says 26 down is Nero.
That sounds right to me. That's certainly I didn't know that fact about Nero, but that's very plausible and that, how many other Roman
How
emperors
many
begin with end and O and are four letters?
right. And how many times can you clue it as the guy who fiddled,
Right. Right.
There's always I think he was adopted by Tiberius, and again, I know this because of my son. So that would have been he would have succeeded Tiberius, I believe. I could be wrong about
This
that.
is
Anyway, put it in
another
the comments if I'm wrong.
yeah, another gap in my knowledge
Right.
is Roman history. Tandoor bread, that's got to be naan, another really great
Exactly. Yummy.
crossword, yes, and very yummy also too.
Right.
Uh sorority's counterpart is a frat,
Yes.
and dachshunds have big ears.
Yes. Absolutely. Grade school class with crayons.
Yeah,
Right.
cool. Love it.
Um, yeah, absolutely. Now we have a question for you. Raffy the Taffy asks, Brian, have you ever thought of doing a ninja sex party crossword?
You know what? I haven't, but I like that idea a lot.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I should make one. I am not. I haven't done that much constructing of crosswords. I've written a lot of other types of puzzles, a handful of crosswords, but I haven't written that many. But that'd be a fun thing, yeah, just to put out to
It's
the
too bad you don't
fans.
know anyone who could help you with
I
that.
know.
You know?
Yeah. It's I should do that. I love that idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a tough one for a lot of people because it's not a very common word, but I think it's really one of those interesting facts that you sort of like, put in the back of your mind and remember it because, you can clear the room at parties for this one. The right-hand page of a book.
I don't know this one. So I mean, I guess I would guess a T there, but I'm not
Yeah,
that I don't know if
yeah.
I love that.
Well, I will
Uh,
tell you that it's correct. Recto is the official name, not the official New York Times crossword, but the real official name for the right-hand page of a book.
mhm.
And verso is the left-hand side.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Great.
no, it
And
doesn't.
then,
But that's
uh,
that's okay.
20, what's 22 across here? Enter.
Uh,
Okay, well, that's step in, so that does make
absolutely.
sense. Yeah. And then barely any as food or drink. So that's a taste. Another one you have to think about to parse for a
Yeah,
minute,
right.
but
And also, is it more than one word?
mhm,
Now we
yep.
have we have another question by Bad Poem, sort of on topic. Do you have any advice for learning and remembering new vocabulary? I tend to forget new words and their meanings almost as quickly as I learn them.
I mean, the only thing I can say is just well, it's very hard to remember something the
Yeah,
first time. It's just repetition.
right.
And, honestly,
Practice.
with crosswords in particular, and as you know very well, Deb, like things just show up again and again and
Yeah,
again and again. And eventually, I remember the first time I saw comb form when I was a kid, which was like famous crosswordese. I was like, what the I didn't even know what it meant. Combinatorial combination form. And then
right.
you just
Oh
kind of
God,
learn it after a
we don't have
while.
that anymore.
No, I know. It was so obscure. And the
Yeah.
only reason people knew it was for crosswords. Right.
Exactly. And,
Yeah,
not to scare people, there is some, I'm not going to lie to you, there is some general knowledge you have to know, but
for sure.
that's why we teach strategy here. Go for the things you know first. See if you can expand on that, with the letters that you have. Try to fill in the blanks and practice, practice, practice. Because, as Brian said, you're going to see them again and again and again. Maybe not the same clue, but they will come up. And also to try the crossings if there's
Yeah.
something that you don't know, like if you didn't know, we had rec blank o. If you don't know what recto is, then you try 22 across and there's your answer.
Yep. And you can also start with those like with recto, I guess, to T, because I was like, well, that seems like a prefix or something. It's probably not going to be like a Q, right?
No,
Or something. So you can also guess, what
unless Will
letters.
decides that it is,
Right.
but
Yeah. Recmo.
we're all at his
Uh,
mercy.
yeah. All right. We're so close to being
We got one little corner left.
done
Let's bring this
here.
home.
Sarcastic criticism. Well, I am an internet person, so of course I know that's snark.
Absolutely.
Um, and so this, again, sports, I don't know. Seems likely to be a vowel, maybe
Yes.
Ira, but I don't love that. So I'm
Okay.
gonna leave that blank.
Okay.
Um, anything from the chat? Anyone see anything over here that they like?
Let's see. Uh, two down. Gilded Fang says is "Oh Romeo," start of a Juliet soliloquy.
I love that.
Yeah, and that's Juliet from Romeo and Juliet, and the
Hmm.
start of her soliloquy is "Oh Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou?" But what will fit there is "Oh Romeo."
Yep. Yeah. If it wasn't for my initial guess, just based on the clue, would have been Romeo. I forgot
Ooh,
about that initial O, but yeah,
I did
it's
too, but when you run out of when you find yourself with a leftover square, you realize that that's probably gonna something else is in there.
yeah. So
Millie, I'm sorry, Millie Cassess says, for strategy, don't ever miss a Monday when you start solving. Absolutely.
yep. Another thing I was just thinking about too is it's good to do the current stuff because they do, I'm sure this is a conscious choice on your part. They tend to be timely, right? They reference things that are happening. It's not, you
Mhm.
don't need to be super up on current events,
No.
but they are, if you look at puzzles from whatever, even 10 years ago,
Mhm.
there are certain things that aren't as familiar
Right.
because they were kind of more in the public consciousness,
Mm.
back then. So I like doing the current puzzles
Yeah.
more than within, and by current, I mean the last couple of years, really,
Right. Right.
more than super old puzzle like from the 70s or 80s, because sometimes you're like, I mean, they're fun, but a lot of
Yeah.
times you're like, well, this doesn't actually really make any sense
And they
anymore.
were edited differently. I mean,
Right.
I think
That's a good point.
Will was largely responsible. Will Shortz, the New York Times crossword editor, was largely responsible for opening up brand names, like you were talking about combinatorial forms of speech before. Prior to Will Shortz becoming editor, the word Oreo, like the cookie, was clued as mountain combinatorial form. Now,
Really?
would you get that? I wouldn't.
That's No, that's just not fun. I mean, like, but
No.
at least for me. Probably
Yeah.
some people think that's
I'd
amazing,
much
but
I'd much rather see it clued as, a dunkable cookie or something like that.
totally. So I gotta say, one across here, I didn't know it. I guess it might be Gobi, and that looks pretty good right now.
Oh, a lot of
Um,
people agree with you in the comments. They've been shouting out Gobi for a while, and Gobi does tend to be the official desert of the New York Times crossword. So
great.
that's the one that pops up the most.
Well, this one, Mississippi City, with that X in there, that's got to be Biloxi, uh,
Absolutely. And Waffles 91 agrees with you.
which is so. What is that? It's a military training facility, right?
Biloxi?
Biloxi. I know there's a Neil Simon
I
play,
think so,
Biloxi
yeah,
Blues,
Biloxi
right?
Blues, absolutely.
So that's
I
yeah,
believe there is or was some sort of a military installation there.
yeah. All right. Let's see.
Alrighty.
What do we got? So either separately, blank. I think that's or in.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That fill in the blank is going to be two words, either separately or in combination.
Yep.
And Mohammed
Uh,
Saeed agrees with that. Hyper Hyperpoly has one down. I honestly got this one wrong at first, and then I laughed when I got it because, excuse me, it is really funny.
so I'm gonna guess that's go bald.
Yes, absolutely. If you develop a Chrome dome, I wanted to put in Google because I saw the word Chrome and then I
Chrome.
realized it wasn't
Yeah.
capitalized.
Yeah, I like that. And we're look at this. We're
Ooh,
really getting here. Leave
we're very close.
leave in a
Leave in a
hurry is
hurry.
gonna be bolt. Uh wing
Absolutely.
winged cupids in art. Is that I don't know this use of it. Amours is what I would
Yes,
guess, but
for love.
yeah, I've never seen it in that
I
context. That's
haven't
awesome.
either, but now it's a thing.
And it's very, I mean, it's the kind of thing, Cupid and love, amour. It
Yeah.
definitely makes sense.
It's one of those things you sort of go, oh, how did I not know that?
Yeah, totally. Why are you telling me this has got to be do I care?
Right, which I just say for a second, let's just stop and look at "Do I Care" crossing snark.
Mm,
Is that not
that's
beautiful?
very, very nice.
Yeah,
And we also have two southern cities crossing in Lexington and Biloxi, which is nice too.
very good. Now we
Uh,
have that one vowel left.
yes. So let's see. Complexity. Okay, so I didn't know the name of Sports Guy, and
Mhm.
presumably a lot of people know this name and are indeed fans of Notre
Right.
Dame football and are screaming at their screens. But complexity has to be intricacy. There we go. I love it.
Nicely done, Brian.
This is so much fun. Yeah, what a fun puzzle. Beautiful
Wasn't
construction
it?
here. Yeah.
Shout out to Brooke Husic for on her first Monday. The theme was vowel progression, where everything started with an L and then went for the short vowels after that: lax, Lexington, licks the spoon, locksmith, and Luxembourg.
Yeah. So I'm curious to hear from the chat. Like, did people learn stuff by watching this? Was this a good in for folks who might be new to crosswords?
Yeah, I would love to know that too. For those of you who are not regular solvers or who have always wanted to become solvers, did you get anything out of this? Is this the kind of thing that might make you say, oh, I could probably do this too? Salamander says this was fun. Lith Cross 21 says this was fun to watch. Maria Plantilla says, yay, Brian should do more of these. You know
This
what?
I look,
You're welcome to join me
I would
anytime
love
you want.
to. This was
Yeah,
so much fun. I'd love to be back for sure.
I like it. You give good banter.
Thank you. I try.
This was a lot more fun and educational than I thought it would be. Hold on. And also kind of to try and solve stuff too. Absolutely. Yes. So great. Yes. Yes. This was nice. Wow. Look at this. Well, Brian,
That's
thank you so
fantastic.
much for opening up crossword puzzles to your fandom, because we have a lot. It's another kind of game.
It is, and they are, for me, it is such a nice way to like just chill. It
Yeah.
is kind of it's almost meditative. You can just like zone out and do it,
Yeah.
and you're thinking about something, but you don't need to, worry about what is going on in the world and all that stuff. It's a really
Right.
nice break just to get your brain to focus on something really fun like
Right.
this. Yeah.
And that's why we stream at lunchtime, because we want people to just sort of say, okay, drop the shoulders,
Yep.
take a deep breath. There's something very soothing about filling in blanks, filling in the squares and stuff like that, and then having something entirely filled in.
Oh, it's the best.
So I think that this is, oh, Nora Sharp says, welcome to the Twitch Crossword fam too. Anyone wants to watch more of these, I got some links for you.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there are a lot of people who are streaming crosswords on Twitter and Twitch, and I think it's great. I love how younger people are starting to pick this up as a
Hmm.
pastime. I think we were talking before the stream that most people pick it up because someone they love did it. You were telling me your mom
Yep.
was somebody who got you into it. I used to watch my dad solve it, and I thought he was the smartest person ever.
Yep.
Um, and this is, it's just a fun thing to do. It's a fun community, very passionate community.
Yeah, and I love, especially now, compared to even 10 or so years ago, that community is just growing, and you're seeing all sorts of new voices in constructors and solvers that
Mhm.
if there are just a million amazing crossword constructors out there who are doing interesting stuff, and you can learn. I find it's also an interesting way of learning about other people's perspectives, because every constructor comes to it with their own knowledge base, and it's really fun just seeing how other people think about the world via
Yeah.
their puzzles.
Absolutely. And what other people's wheelhouses are, which I find really interesting. There are people who, know, theater from the 1940s. And
Right.
then, that might help me, whereas I know pop culture from, the 1970s on, and I can help with that.
Right. For sure.
And people are asking, Live Cross 21 is asking in the comments, is this something regularly done this time of day each day? Because this is a nice little break while waiting for more students to come in. Thank you for asking that. Our intrepid producer, Isaac, put the answer in the stream. We stream Mondays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. Just so you know, there's a difference between the streams. Mondays, we kind of slow it down and we talk a lot more about the rules to help people who are not advanced solvers get better at it. Like we said, plural in the clues, plural in the answers is one of those little rules you can follow that I think will immediately make you a better solver.
Hmm.
It really, there's not a whole lot to it. And if you would like to try, we have a How to Solve the New York Times Crossword guide on wordplay. If you go to the nytimes.com and you look up wordplay, one of the first things you'll see on the front of the section online is the guide on how to solve. You can work your way through. We explain all the clues, and there are little mini crosswords that you can work to practice your newfound skills. And by the time you finish it, you should be able to get through most of the week. But again, it takes practice, and you could be doing worse things with your time. I think.
Yeah,
Right, Brian. So
absolutely. Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. So I think that's about it. Brian, thank you so much for being with us. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you do come back.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, Deb, thank you so much for having me. This was great.
What, just out of curiosity, what are you working on right now?
Well, let's see. I have like any true internet person, I have a bunch of different stuff. My main project is this band Ninja Sex Party, where I dress up as a ninja and we sing comedy songs, mostly like 80s rock style.
And
But I
glare
also,
menacingly.
yes, that's right. I'm very, very good at staring, as I only realized once I started wearing a mask a lot of the time, 12 or so years ago. But I have a podcast called Late and Night with Brian Wecht, where we talk to creators, digital creators, and actually do on our Patreon, we solve the New York Times puzzles like once every
Yeah.
couple of weeks. And so this is a big part of our podcast as well.
Yeah.
And I have a kids band called Go Banana Go, where we make silly kind of comedy songs for kids, which
Oh, that's
my
awesome.
7-year-old daughter sings on some of them, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And Isaac put the name of the podcast. I don't know if we have a link, but it's Leighton night, like late night. But Leighton Gray is your co-host. Is that
That's right.
correct?
Yep, she is a video game developer. She co-created the indie hit Dream Daddy, which is a dad dating sim, and she's just an all-around interesting and fun and funny person. And we've been
I
having a great
love that.
time doing the
I love
podcast
that.
together.
Well, I'm definitely going to I'm definitely going to listen in on the podcast. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Nyaga Dalamik says, "Thank you, Brian, for showing me that this channel exists." And the duck says, "Love you, Brian."
I love you, the duck.
And I don't think we can end on a better note than that.
That's right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. This is Deb Amlen for the New York Times. Wishing